So, after Full Sail and you have your degree, like, what do you want to do?
So after I graduate from Full Sail with a degree in music production, I plan on going to LA to pursue a career in music. I'm not really sure what specific job title I'd like to start working as, but really whatever's available, whether that's an internship or finding something good right off the bat.
I mean, so, like, you're an international student, so, like, it's kind of harder for you you can't just work anywhere, you know?
Yeah, no. As an international, I applied for this thing called the OPT, where I'm allowed to work as long as it's a job pertaining to what I studied, and they pretty much give me a year to do that, and I have to register at least 20 hours of work or volunteering in something related to my industry every week, or I risk getting sent home. So that's that process.
I mean, so if, let's say, you know, you work for a company, you work for a studio that really wants to, like, keep you here, would you stay, or would you rather just, like, travel somewhere else to find, like, more opportunities?
Honestly, I can't really say. I feel like I'm someone that would want to travel just because I grew up between two different countries, and I'm kind of missing the clash of cultures that I experienced growing up. The States is nice, but it's just been a little bit bland so far, so I feel like I would want to go elsewhere after that year just to, like, really make the most of my young years to travel and experience the world before deciding where I want to settle.
I mean, but, like, you don't really know that because you've only really lived in, like, one city in the whole of the United States. So, like, what if LA is, like, the place for you?
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, I've enjoyed other cities that I visited that haven't been Orlando, but I feel like still, culturally, I would want to live somewhere for a while where maybe English isn't the first language, or where there's a completely different history or different background, or, you know, just, like, I want to experience the world more than just, you know, like, the westernized internationals, you know? Like, even myself, I consider to be, like, a westernized international. I'm not, like,
You're not, like, third world country or, like...
Well, not even like that, but it's just, like, culturally, I still grew up and experienced a very American culture, which is, like, even my accent and stuff, you know, speaks to that. So I just want to go somewhere where it's
Spanish,
different.
right?
I do speak Spanish as well. It's my second language, but yeah, I just want to go somewhere where it's, like, completely different, where I just kind of feel like an oddball, you know?
So, like, does your music, like, kind of have, like, deciding, you know, voice in, like, where you go next after LA, or?
Definitely, if my music does really well in LA and it is doing well, I would stay just because that's what I ultimately came here to study, and it would, like, you know, that'd be the ultimate goal of what I studied. But at the same time, with the advancement of the internet, there are lots of artists that do really, really well in the US market that aren't necessarily from the States or don't necessarily live there or are based there. It is a little bit harder, which is why if my music did well in LA, I would stay. But if it seemed as if it wasn't doing as well as I thought, or I wasn't getting that many opportunities, or just, like, visa-wise, my time is up, definitely I wouldn't mind going to another country, or maybe even teaching English in another country, or in a few countries just for a year, you know, just to, like, get some travel adventures in before I have to settle down. Especially when you're going big with music, if you sign to a major label, you can't just take a year off to go teach English in a bunch of, like, third world countries, you know? So definitely, if it's not going as well as I'd hoped, that's something that I would want to get out of the way before I try to push hard again, just so I can get those experiences in.
Yeah, so, like, what would you, like, describe your, like, music, like, genre?
Genre, I would say it's alternative pop. It's definitely produced for the masses, which is the definition of pop, but I would say it's very alternative. I like electronic influences, but still really like classical influences as well. Like other artists that I aspire to sound like are like Banks or John Bellion, or I even like some of the Weeknd stuff, or Jack Garrett. A lot of them are kind of obscure, but if you look them up, you'll kind of understand.
Yeah. So, like, how do you feel about, like, social media, like, in this social media driven world?
I think social media can be a blessing or a curse. There's a lot of people that are, you know, doing really well out in the real world and then lacking on social media, and other people that are doing really, really well on social media and then lacking in the real world. And you kind of have to find a balance. In the music industry, social media is definitely important, but there are artists out there that go on tours and have songs with millions and millions of plays that have, like, a couple thousand followers on Instagram, because it's just not really where like their main platform, you know, like a lot of their fans maybe just have them from Spotify and that's enough for them right now. And as they get bigger, social media will grow. But then you have other artists that really just started on social media and then decided, hey, I'm going to do music as well. Like Troye Sivan, for example, who was always into music, but that wasn't really the core of his brand. People loved him. So when he decided to do music, it just kind of took off that way. So I don't know, for me it's kind of a mix. I used to be really into Tumblr and I used to live broadcast and I had all these fans and stuff, and it kind of just consumed my life and I wasn't really doing anything with it, so I let it die. But now that I'm really pursuing music, I almost wish I had kept it up because it would have been a great fan base to have for when I release my music. And now I feel like I'm probably just going to go the more music first route of put something out there, and if it's good, the fans will come. So just make sure that it's readily available and easily accessible.
So, like, does your family, like, support you? Like, are they, like, your biggest fans?
Yeah, my family definitely supports me, but they also know that I'm pretty much, like, with my family, it's like if I give them a plan set in stone with all the details covered, they'll support me, but they know that I'm very kind of indecisive, and with my music journey even, they're the ones that just told me about Full Sail because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I had all these different ideas, and they were like, how about Full Sail? It's only 20 months. If you hate it, you can always study something after you're still young. I ended up really liking it, and they knew I would, and so now I've kind of recently decided, like, oh, I'm going to pursue music. So they're really on board, but they also, I think they know as well, as much as I do, that if it's not going the way that I hoped, there's lots of other options out there for me. I really like fashion, I love branding, I love marketing, I love art direction, creative direction, modeling. Like, there's so many other things that I'm into, so I feel like for me, I consider it to be a music season. But at the same time, I don't want that mentality to stop me from really going full at it, because if I don't invest all my time and even money into it, then I can't expect the type of results that would encourage me to stay in the industry.
So like, after, like, if, you know, the music doesn't work out, it would definitely be like, you know, art direction.
Yeah, I feel like I'd probably want to go to school for something else, and it'd probably be art direction related or creative direction, or just like, you know, even like media communications type degree where you can get a degree that pretty much certifies you to do all sorts of things in the creative world, you know? I'm super passionate about like self-expression and how, you know, like creating art that evokes certain emotions or helps people feel like they're not alone, or like it's relatable content, you know, or even if it's not relatable, like things that just inspire people, you know? I feel like a lot of times as people, like, we're not the best at communication, and I think like art is something that's very universal, so it's easy to, like, you know, cross borders with and really get a message across. And I feel like art unifies people, and that's kind of what I want to do with my music as well, is just have a sense of unity and not like division, because I feel like that's kind of what's going on right now, you know? So,
yeah. Well, I hope everything goes well for you, man.
Thank you.